know an episode is good when it trends on Twitter, okay? Uncle Phil and Bel-Air was trending on Twitter earlier today because this episode was definitely giving what we are looking for as TV consumers, okay? There was so much going on, and as you can see on my thumbnail, it says the veil is lifted because there's a lot of things that have come to light this episode. We find out a little something about Doc, which I think they're going to get a little bit more into next episode. We find out about the girl who snitched on Miss Hughes and got her fired. So let's get into it. So, recapping from last episode, we see that Carlton is back on the cocaine. And this episode, he got totally effed up. But we're gonna get into that in a minute. Alright, so Will's playing his game or whatever, and Doc keeps looking at this guy standing off to the side. And, we're kind of thinking what's going on with that. Then Uncle Phil and Jeffrey see Doc and a dude arguing outside, right? Because Will, they actually won the game, so I was kind of confused as why that guy was upset about it. Well, G is a goon, you feel me? He's in these streets. He's a London gangster. So when Jeffrey says he's on it, he's on it. And I'm looking at my notes. If you see, I'm looking down because I try not to do too much of the trying to remember parts of the episode. Okay, so we still got this Will, Lisa, Carlton, Jackie thing going on, and Drew. We're going to throw it. Drew's the one that Carlton beat up at the bowling alley. So we find out that he dropped the tape, right, last episode. And so Will and Lisa weren't too much on good terms at the time. Because, she told him that she didn't even want to be friends with him because she had feelings for him. So he sees Drew and Lisa holding hands down the hall, walking up the stairs or whatever. So he tells Carlton to tell her. And Carlton gives her this charm bracelet. And he sees her walking with Drew with the bracelet that he gave her on. And he said, look, your boy Drew, he's the one that dropped the tape. He's the one that, caused all this ruckus, about this Founders Award thing. She doesn't believe him. She feels like, she said something to the effect of, I'm sorry if you think I like you like that or something. She blew him off, and he was like, yeah, I'm sorry that you you want to get over Will so bad, so you had to give her the first a-hole. And I think that too, because Drew is not appealing to me. He's cocky, he has a bad attitude. I really think he is kind of reboundish for Lisa. I mean, that's just how I think it is. A lot of this stuff might not be in too much of order. So one of the big things that happened this season was Miss Hughes getting fired. That was like the first or second episode where they had the protests and everything. And the way they made it seem like this little girl in Ashley's class was the one that dropped the bomb, or dropped the dime. Did people still say drop dimes? Anyway, we thought she was the one that told that Miss Hughes was giving Ashley things that were not on the curriculum. Well, her and Ashley got paired up to do this project, the STEM project, I believe. And come to find out, the girl was like, no, I never said anything. She said, I was just a little jealous because I used to be Miss Hughes' favorite, and then, blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking that's one veil lifted. We see that she didn't tell. So I'm curious who told, because it had to been somebody in the class, because I doubt if Ashley's walking around the school like, hey, Miss Hughes gave me this book. You feel me? So I don't know if we're ever going to know that. Who knows? So, okay, so something that a lot of us Bel-Air watchers are hoping don't happen is that Uncle Phil does not mess with this Erica lady. We find out that she was actually Viv's line sister in college, and that she was slept with Uncle Phil while they were supposedly on a break. But still, like, if that's your friend, their men are off limits. I don't care if they break up. And she said they were together 2 years. So I would feel some kind of way about that, but Uncle Phil actually decided not to join her organization or whatever she had going on. She's in the same field as him as far as like law. And I don't know how I would feel about that. I knew it was something going on because Aunt Viv, her character doesn't seem like the insecure, jealous type. And I feel like she did have a good reason with this Erica character, and we found out what it was. Speaking of positions with Aunt Viv, she's taking the old Aunt Viv's position in this art thing. I think she's, executive director. I might be saying it wrong, but anyway, she's taking her position. And so I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this. Like, is Daphne Maxwell Reid going to be, a staple on the show, a reoccurring actress on the show? That'd be cool. Now, since Miss Hughes moved away, I'm guessing, what's Ashley's real name? The old Ashley. Starts with it. Tatiana Ali. I'm guessing she's not gonna come back because they had her character move away. So, but congratulations, Viv, on your position, girl. All right. I want to save Carlton for last because that was kind of like the big one. So Hillary, and Jazz are still broke up. Jazz didn't even come on this episode or whatever. But Hillary's ex, he got money, he got connections, he got a billboard for her because she was saying, Ivy said something about her billboard, and he just up and got her one. Like, anything she wants business-wise, he's giving it to her. He has let her know that he wants to be back with her. Now, I don't know if she just using them, or if she's intending on getting back with him. I don't know, but I know a lot of us are divided on this. Like, I was on Twitter earlier, and we were all, I was looking at tweets and responding to some, and some are still Team Jazz, some are still Team LaMarcus. But I like Jazz, and I don't know, because I guess if any man has money, he's going to be showing it off to the lady that he wants. So I guess I can't say that he has an ulterior motive, because I think any rich man's going to be like, girl, you want this? I got it. Oh, you want a billboard? Bam, here you go. So I think he's doing what any rich guy would do. You know what I'm saying? So, but Team Jazz still, even if him and Hillary do not get back together, I'm still Team Jazz, because he's a cool, solid dude, He was a little insecure at the dinner table, and it just, turned to something else, and they had to break up. But, hey. And I'm still thinking it's Trevor character. I was talking to somebody, and they said, well, Trevor, he died in that bungee accident on Fresh Prince. It would be weird to bring him back. And I'm like, yeah, but they're not mirroring exactly what happened on Fresh Prince. You know what I'm saying? Like, they might have some episodes, a part in the episode where it gives like, oh, I remember that little thing and, in Fresh Prince, but it's not like exactly how it was. So Trevor's role was too big. I really feel like they're going to bring him in. And if y'all think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. What do you think? You think Trevor's coming back to Bel-Air, or you think they're just going to, leave him on out of there? And we still haven't seen Nikki, the whole Nikki character really was because the first Aunt Viv got pregnant in real life. And so that's why, I'm just guessing, that's why the Nikki character was on the show. But he still was on there, I believe, the last 3 seasons. Definitely last 2. But I believe the old Aunt Viv left in season 3 or after season 3. So we'll see if we see little Nikki. We'll see if we see Trevor. I'm still holding out on Trevor, man. Trevor, even though he was annoying AF, he was a smooth, cool person. He was kind of like a comic relief as well with his bougie behind. So we'll see. Trevor, LaMarcus, Jazz, who will it be? All right, so Carlton, after he I forgot what something triggered him again, but anyway, he ran up on Connor and was like, he wanted that stuff, he wanted that coke. So Connor drove him to this guy's house, and at first they were just gonna pick it up and I guess do it elsewhere. Carlton stayed and partied, and they had all kind. I don't do recreational drugs, so I think I saw a crack pipe or something. Maybe it was a vape. Like I said, I'm not familiar with stuff, but he was drinking. He was doing coke, maybe crack. There were pills. He was snorting pills. He was doing everything. And I'm like, oh my God, please don't overdose, Carlton, please. So he wakes up at the house. Everybody's gone, including his car. So he walks to a bus stop, calls Aunt Viv, makes up this crazy ass lie about he was walking and parked the car somewhere and was walking or some crap. And I'm like, oh my God. So when they get to the house, Uncle Phil doesn't really believe the story. She's kind of just like, I don't want to say he's lying. Let's just kind of let it mellow out. But Jeffrey, who is on to everything, Jeffrey come from the street, so he know what stuff looks like. Them street smarts are very much, I feel, needed in society, and they can spot out things a person who's not of that life will spot out. He knew he was lying. And he found his car, Jeffrey did, and he said, your car was 10 miles away from where you were, where you said you were. He said, it's just hard to believe that you walked 10 miles. You see what I'm saying? I mean, we got Uber and all that. I'm adding that in there. He didn't say that, but I'm just saying. And he just basically told him, like, it's gonna come up eventually. So, I mean, whatever you want to do. But some people are predicting an overdose for Carlton, and I hope not. He's really having a hard time with things. One thing I wanted to add in, I know Carlton's, what I said was going to be the last one, but Lisa's stepmom finally has her baby, and Will stayed with her in the hospital, and he was kind of blowing Jackie off. Well, by the time the baby came, he went to Jackie's job and she was gone. Hopefully she didn't go somewhere and get drunk off her behind, because she can't seem to handle stuff either. And we find out that Doc is involved with some kind of bribes. I'm guessing that's why a guy at the game was acting like that. I think it's deeper than that. Something else is going on with Doc. He's been shady from the start, and we're all waiting on that. So we have this is episode 8. We have 2 episodes left. I can't believe this season is going as fast as it's going, man. And 2 more before this month is over. So will the season be over? What am I supposed to do with myself? Anyways, y'all, as always, peace and blessings. Thank you for the followers that are subscribers, that are here with me. Thank you for sticking it through, man. Y'all are the lucky 29, okay? But anyways, I'm headed to bed. Y'all have a good one.